Very good evening to everyone. And we assemble here for yet another exciting ag clinic. And I think the theme itself is very interesting. The next generation ag input distribution channels, efficiency and economics. So when ThinkAg also started doing the ag clinics, in fact, this was in 2020 when we had the distribution as one of our core themes. And we focus more on digitization. Now, a lot of different channels, a lot of different models have also evolved. So it's actually a very good mix of speakers that we have on this panel today, which Deepak would be moderating. And I hope the entire discussion would be very interesting, very engaging. And please feel free to use the Q&A box to post any questions if you feel, or probably any sort of comments, you can put it on the comment box. So I think without any further ado, and also to give due time to the entire discussion, I'll hand this over to Deepak to carry out this event. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Abhijit. So actually, I'm speaking from Gulf Food and Beverages, and had this opportunity of moderating this session. So we all know that agriculture input retail chains have evolved, as Abhijit was talking about digitization, but have they become efficient, economical, and transparent? That's $1 million question, which we would try to find some answers today. If you see that India, we are talking about roughly 1 million people directly and indirectly involved in agriculture retail. And out of that, roughly 0.35 million are retail shops, 0.28 million are those who are having licenses. So it's a big community of retailer itself. At the same time, when we talk about the Indian agri input market itself, which comprises of fertilizer, that is typically the crop nutrient, crop protection, seeds, consumables, irrigation, it's roughly $52 billion. That's a huge market. And out of that, 55% is fertilizer, 15% is seeds, 16% is mechanization, 10% crop protection, and 4% consumables and irrigation. Now, this is very pertinent to understand that not just agtech startups or agtech I say that neo companies or a little bit old companies like startups, right? We also have companies like AgroStar, Agri, Gramic, Big Heart, Dehat, Freshocart, Farms. All of them, they are trying to contribute in this sector. At the same time, we are also seeing a shift in companies which are established players in agri input side, typically companies like Bayer, BASF, Syngenta. They're also trying to evolve. And today, to discuss all these possibilities, I'm having a super panel with me, which includes Mr. Ravi Kumar, a good friend, and he's a lead for smallholder farmers, Southeast Asia for Bayer. I've got Sachin, another good friend of mine, who is co-founder and director at Big Heart India. Then we are having Rajendra, right? Again, see, I'll stop saying my good friend because all of them, they are my very good friends, right? So Rajendra, again, he happens to be my own city, Jaipur. He's a co-founder of Freshocart, one of the fugitive player in the market. Satyam, I'm in your city. So look forward to have a coffee with you pretty soon. And Satyam is from Dubai, and he's a chairman and CEO of Banixia, who is a very IP dependent or IP heavy biological player. Then we are having Umesh. Umesh is the business head for agri and dairy input for Star Labs, and that's me. So without much of ado, I would request Satyam, if you can introduce yourself in just a couple of minutes, and then we'll have a round of introduction and then question.
So thanks, Deepak. I think, as you rightly said, that it's a very relevant discussion that we are having. And as for us, I represent Virentia. I'm the group CEO of Virentia. Virentia in Latin means being green, and we spell it with an X because we bring the X factor to green. So we are into giving a 360-degree solution. We approach this entire thing because we feel that the future of agriculture is in transition from synthetic chemical-based agriculture to regenerative agriculture. And therefore, we are busy creating solutions and looking at it in a 360-degree manner, holistically, and creating solutions in the complete bioag range and also providing agri tech solutions to the capacity building, hand holding, and to make this transition process smooth without any productivity or economic loss to the farmer. So in a nutshell, that is what we are.
Sorry, I was on mute. So I would like to go next to Ravi. Ravi, if you can introduce yourself and the work you're doing.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Deepak. And thank you for inviting in this panel with so esteemed speaker and you yourself there. So really glad to be here. So I represent, of course, Bayer Crop Science. And I guess everybody in the webinar today will be knowing about this organization, of course. And I represent smallholder farming. And under smallholder farming, there is an initiative called Better Life Farming, which is basically a partnership model where like-minded people at global level and at local national level have come together to create this platform where we reach to the farmers and provide these 360-degree solutions and product to the farmer through our Better Life Farming centers, which are situated in the villages and specifically tackling all the needs of the smallholder farming. We have around 1900 centers currently operating across India and Bangladesh. And starting from advisory capability building to seeds, crop nutrition, crop protection, mechanization, up till off-taking, market off-taking, we provide all these solutions to farmer through a Better Life Farming center. So really glad to be here and really look forward to have a very engaging discussion. Thank you, Deepak. Over to you.
So thank you. Next, we go to Sachin. Sachin, if you can briefly introduce you and Vikat.
Yeah, so I would like to say we started in 2015 as an agri input player, and now you can call it us full stack agri tech player, where we are providing agri input, we are connecting buyers, farmers with the buyers, and at the same time, our focus is digital. So we are building a lot of digital piece, which can focusing to bring all the stakeholders together on the platform. So just to name it like Kisan Vedika, Kisan Sandesh. Vedika is equivalent to the LinkedIn. Crop Doctor, which is helping farmers to instantly diagnose, get the diagnosis done and get the recommendation. That's it from my side now.
Perfect. So Rajendra, next to you, if you can introduce the work you are doing, and pretty interesting. Actually had opportunity of visiting with your team, the work you are doing on ground, and really very impressive. So if you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi Deepak, hi everyone, and thank you Stella for organizing this interesting session. About FreshoCart, so we also started almost end of the 2016 in December 2016. We, of course, tried many things in the past to find out the perfect model which could be like successful in this model. Today, FreshoCart is a full stack model, but it's a social commerce platform where we are building a network of village level entrepreneurs. We started this model through Agri input, and we have successfully doing that in almost 15 districts in Rajasthan and MP. But then we realized like through VLEs that really could be, because there is a challenge in educating every single farmer to use the technology. So we thought, why not we first educate people who can maybe who could be medium for us to reach to every single farmer. So or and above these agri input, now we are adding every other services like even tractors, irrigation product, farm care, farm machinery, financial product, everything in this mobile application that any VLE can work on behalf of the farmers or provide these farmers data who want to who want to take any services. Let's say we are not present in Gujarat, but some company want to also work with us for agri input. So they can also integrate with FreshoCart VLE. So you can say it's a super app for VLE. So that's what we are building. We are because there is no case study how things will work, but for us, as far as possible, things are working very fine. That's about us. Almost like about me, belong from Rajasthan farming family, so understand and farmer standpoint from my childhood. So I think there is a connect that why not let's build for farmers first for Rajasthan or nearby states. So that's about us.
Excellent. So I'm from Rajasthan, so I feel good. Something good happened for farmers from Rajasthan. And now I'm having another guy from same place, right? Rajasthan. Umesh, we would love to understand a little bit about you and the work you are doing. How difficult, how easy, right? It is your current role. It has been challenging, I understand, dairy and agriculture, but you are someone who is trying to bridge the gap. So on to you for your introduction, Umesh.
Thanks, Deepak, and welcome everyone on this panel. I've been with Stelabs for last 5 years. In this 5 year, we have built multiple service line for the farmers. In a nutshell, what we are trying to do is basically build a tech-driven bi-directional supply chain to provide multiple services for the farmer, and it can be summarized as a full stack player also. The services which we offer currently include tech services for the dairy processors. So all the major dairy processors are using our technology to optimize their supply chain. We also use our own tech to provide market linkage to dairy farmers. We are procuring around 2 lakh liter milk of daily basis from roughly around 2,000 villages in India. We are also providing input services and financing solutions to the farmers. So at Stelabs, we have sort of started all the services, market linkage, input services, and financing solution. We are giving it to the farmers, and I've been fortunate enough to be involved in all of this in deploying or building all of these 3 services. Looking forward to this discussion. I think we have the right set of people to discuss the challenges and the efficiency or the economics which can be arrived from agri input distribution model. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent, Umesh. So now we try to get a little bit deeper understanding about how the markets are working, what are the challenges in the market. We all know that actually the crop protection has been much debated topic, right? And most of the people sitting on here will also agree with me that seeds and typically crop protection is for the private sector is more important than the fertilizer, which is definitely lion's share 55%, but the whole economics around it revolves on subsidies, right? And it's a government is a key player and who drives the direction. But the remaining other inputs, definitely 6 of us who are visible on the screen, they have some role to play. So I would like to go to Ravi. Ravi, how do you see agri input market, the direction it is going to take, and your take on because where has been involved in typically seeds, has been involved in the protection and even nutrients which are not directly subsidized, right? So I would like to understand how do you see going forward the Indian agri input market, and what would be the 3 key trends emerging out of it going forward?
Sure. So Deepak, like everybody of us knows, right, that Indian agriculture is advancing really, really fast now. And this last decade has been great in terms of the new technology coming in, digitization coming in, and a lot of new innovations happening in agriculture space. In last 5 years has been like a super fast paced change. And agri input being a dominant part of entire value chain is obvious will go change for sure, right? And like you rightly said, with a few number that India has around 150 million farmers, and incidentally around 80 to 85% of them are small and marginal farmer, right? But the interesting point is that even with those, we have around 50% with the kind of market size also you told about fertilizer, seeds and pesticides. Only 50% of the small and marginal farmers are using fertilizer now, right? And then around 30% of them are using, let's say, high yielding variety seeds, right? So the good part is that inherent demand and potential demand is already there structurally in the system, right? So the macros, from the macros point of view, things are very highly positive that anyway the industry is going to grow forward as more and more organization comes into the industry. And the good part is also that apart from the core input of, let's say, seeds, let's say crop protection, crop nutrition, the services part, the advisory, credit, mechanization has now also become more and more important, and more focus is being given, right? So keeping all this thing in mind, if you ask me what are the top 3-4 changes or direction which is the industry is going forward, the entire agri input industry, the very first thing which is happening is is the democratization of technology and know-how in curating the new product and services. I guess a decade back or 15 years back, the R&D forte, which used to be with, let's say, the large MNC with large pocket, deep pocket, and I think the right kind of resources and right kind of mind, that has been democratized, right? So people are now coming from with new, and that competitive advantage has been lost, and now people are coming with multiple people are coming with new formulation, new product, new higher variety seeds, so which has been a great value creation for the end customer, right? Because it was not possible for any 1, 2, 3 or 4 company to bring so much of technology and to reach to all these farmers. So with multiple companies and multiple players coming in with this new kind of technology, that has really solved the problem. So I am seeing that democratization of technology happens more and more, and we'll see more and more multiple innovative product coming into the agriculture ecosystem. So that's there for sure. Coupled with that point is green and sustainable product, that out of the entire gamut, more and more focus will now go into green and sustainable product, right? That how we can decrease the carbon footprint, how we can bring green product, which will not only be very useful for increasing the productivity, because that will always be the key, because at the end we have to feed 1.4 billion people in India and globally around 9.5 to 10 billion people by 2050, but also how we can decrease the carbon footprint or the natural footprint. Nano urea is one such example, but at a concept level, it's a sustainable product here, which is using less resource and which is consuming less resource for the people, right? The second thing which I'm seeing, which directionally, is that solving a lot of efficiency problem in value chain. Agriculture being a dominant employment thing and spread across the rural geography in our country, I think efficiency was one such problem which was always there. And now supply chain efficiency problem, which how to break the conventional channel structure for right reason to bring transparency, deliver right value to the farmer. Agri marketplaces coming and becoming, they will keep on becoming more and more stronger because they are creating efficiency in the system. Second thing which I'm seeing, the growth in service input, right? Apart from, like I said, seeds, pesticide, and fertilizer, agri financing is now becoming more and more important, and people are focusing a lot in bringing new innovative product which can really solve this problem of farmers, right? Coupled with finances, agri insurance, that and some new product has come in the market which are trying to solve these kind of problem. And then third is, of course, precision agriculture, software as a service, and IoT, which is giving customized advisory, right time availability of information. So all this inefficiency which is there in the system will get solved, and directionally we are in the right direction to do this. And I think one direction is the bundling of product and services, which is happening at different level, right? Because it's very inefficient to reach the same farmer multiple time by multiple people for multiple product, right? And farmer is we are seeing that farmer is valuing bundling of solution, and given that it's effective, right, and it is priced properly, they're even ready to pay even, let's say, a bit of premium for that, right? So this bundling of product which is operating across the value chain in agriculture, it's something which will grow and which will bring disproportionate value to the farmer. So Deepak, these are the 3-4 things directionally I'm thinking agri input market is going to move in next 5 years.
Excellent, Ravi. I totally agree with you. Bundling, because it also gives a perspective to the farmer that people won't crave if something doesn't work. So when they buy from 10 different people, like one will say that you've not done this correctly or that correctly, service was not good or a product was not good. Here, farmer get that confidence that actually I take everything from one company, right? I know who to question if something goes wrong. And you also very rightly pointed out that we are going forward look for more green technology. So that brings me to Satyam. Satyam, actually, you are a player which is working on biological and digital part both together, combining both of them, right? Good of both worlds. So from you, I would like to understand, according to you going forward, with context, I know you're a global player, but with context with India, where do you see market going, and what are your 3 themes for agri input sector?
Thanks, Deepak. I will contextualize this. Whatever I need to say is that over 60 years of green revolution in India has outlived its utility. The crisis is probably augmented with also the perils of climate change that is facing us. The delicate balance between natural inputs and synthetic chemical inputs is broken, further exacerbated with overuse of pesticides and groundwater. The increasing uncertainties of climate, coupled with soil degradation and water shortage, is becoming a perfect recipe for disaster. Even indigenous seed gene pools are getting lost. And therefore, the law of as in they say in economics, the law of diminishing returns is kicking in. So this is setting the context of what is facing us today. And that too, the other situations like the volatile international prices of chemical fertilizers are putting huge pressure on government towards subsidies. So essentially, the situation is just right for innovation. All these crises that are looming over the country, I think this is the right kind of situation for people to think out of the box and for innovation. So for us, the three key directions that we see as important are that the transition to bioag alternatives and regenerative agriculture is inevitable. But it's need to be done in a very calibrated manner. This transition needs to be done in a very calibrated manner. The second direction that we see is that to make this transition, evangelizing, capacity building, training, and crop advisory towards regenerative farming has to be efficiently given to and to be reached to every farmer, and has to happen at scale. This will create the ground for new approach to soil, water, and crop management. And the third direction that we evince is the primary crop nutrition should come out of local biowaste recycling, and thus to establish circular economy. Therefore, we need to establish local community-driven distributed manufacturing. And being in the 21st century, this distributed manufacturing need to be established as per Industry 4.0 or even better, Industry 5.0 standards. Government's announcement of 10,000 bio-input resource centers and schemes such as PM Pranam, Govardhan are all steps in the right direction, we feel. Of course, the primary nutrient that is being given through recycling of the locally available bio-waste, of course, need to be supplemented with external agri input sources to achieve and sustain increased productivity and quality, so that we can feed, as Ravi said, that we have to feed 9.5 to 10 billion by 2050. Over to you, Deepak.
Perfect, Satyam. So no, Satyam, I totally agree with you. Like, some of this try to shift towards biological is very important. In fact, if we see that globally, like, biological market is roughly $12 billion or 5% of total agro protection plus agrochemical market. That needs to change. And I see in next 5 years that to at least double. So I totally agree with you that the direction has also, that India could lead that moving towards that direction, because of one thing is that for government also the subsidy and fertilizer is hurting them extensively. And with that, I would like to go to next to Sachin. So Sachin, your perspective, you have been a veteran in digital sales of agri input, right? The pioneers who started the whole game, right? I would like to understand from you, where do you see agri input markets going, and according to you, what are the three key themes you look at going forward?
So I would like to put this way, let's first understand the challenges in the agri. The farmers are not able to get the product of their choice. Quality is not assured when he's going to purchase the product. Local shopkeeper is pushing the product to the farmer. It means his input cost is going higher. Information he is not able to receive. Transparency is not there in the ecosystem. This is the one set of the problem. Second set of the problem, if we talk about, we are talking about remove the middleman. But I'm saying middleman is not an issue. Issue is the supply chain imbalance. Farmers are not taking an informed decision while they are going for sowing. They are taking a decision based on the by influencing with the peers or fellow farmers or the market mandi price of the particular commodity. Then third challenge, let me put the end consumer as well. So being a consumer, we are not sure of food safety is another major challenge which we are facing, and down the line we'll be talking about that one. So all these three are interlinked, and being a big heart, we feel that using the science, data and technology, we can create a bigger impact on the farmer's life, and they will be able to take an informed decision. That's where digital will be playing a critical role and is playing. Now, ecosystem is ready, especially after 4G penetration. Now they are holding at least one smart device in one family. The digital adaptation, which we were expecting in 2024, we achieved in 2021. So ecosystem is ready. I personally believe, when I look into the data, we should expect the exponential growth in agri input digital penetration when it comes for the digital or e-commerce, if we talk about. And as per my understanding, some report I saw, and I agree with that one, that let's say by 2030, I will not be surprised if I will be surprised if we are not crossing a $7 billion agri input market. So it's a convenience, transparency, availability, product of their choice. So I think this will be the big game changer, and because of this, we will be having a data. So we will be better equipped to use the data for all the relevant stakeholders, so that they can improve their efficiency, operation efficiency, and they can take a more informed decision.
Here in Sachin, very well articulated. So I totally agree with you. The challenges definitely would be solved to a certain extent by digital technologies. But I would now go to Rajendra. Rajendra, you have tried digital, you have tried physical, and you have come out with digital and then VLE. So we would like to understand from you your journey, that where do you see agri input markets going, and what would be your three themes going forward?
Right. I think, because if you are going to scale something, first you have to run a successful pilot. So that has been our philosophy as a Freshocart team. And with that strategy, we tried digital, we still doing some part of that, but what we want to scale it. So as a business, it is also important what we are doing, which can scale to multi-fold exponentially, right? Because there are businesses, there are good businesses, but it's your choice, which business you want to scale it. So our always thesis was, it should be digital, it should be reaching people exponentially. And with that thought, what we believe agri input market, which is a next 10 years, will be almost doubled, and how it will be working in the future, because it will not be same, right? That everyone is sure about that. So how I can reach, let's say, 1 million farmer in next 12 months. So what could be the approach?
One is I reach to 1 million farmer directly, or I have some other ways. So we focus, like everyone know about how LIC works. So they have people on the ground, so that I think everyone at even at the rural level know about LIC, right? So they have a very strong distribution channel. So what we have thought that why not we build people who are little bit educated and who really want to work it, because rural only option of employment and earning is farming, right? And there are very few people who are employed at other places. People are living from villages to the cities and doing jobs there. So what we tried that why not build a network of these village level entrepreneurs who can work in agri input. And agri input is not like it's a separate different industry altogether. Like if someone is using agri input, they require proper advisory for that. They also require equipments to use some of those products. They also require post-harvest solutions. There are farm equipment. So everything is like closely like connected, all those kind of products, right? So the point is, we at Freshocard believe that what things will be changing. One, as a startup, if you want to make differences, there should be technology which can build a scalable business model and sustainable business model. It's not like we have to provide so much of cashback or discount, and farmer will be coming back to us again and again, because we can't go to each and every farmer at every village level that I have given you cashback and you come back to me and use my app. So our thesis is we are building this super app for village level entrepreneurs. These village level entrepreneurs are using Freshocard mobile application, and every VLE we expect to work on behalf of like 10, 20 or 30 farmers. So this is how we have target to reach in next 12 months to reach almost 100,000 VLEs and almost 1 million farmers. And we believe that was the fastest way to, and we are almost achieved 20% out of that. So one is like maybe a platform where it could be in a collaboration. We have almost from every industry, we have partners who are working with us. So one is like it should be, we believe digital platforms can only transform the industry, and that can build a scalable business, because there are many players who are already working from in the market from last 20, 30, 40 years. But everyone, all the traditional player, all the big company, everyone have lack of technology, and everyone accept that. So what we want to become a digital partner for every single business. Other than that, we talk about like 10-minute delivery, 20-minute delivery, and still in the rural, that's the biggest challenge. Everyone know about that. So how our digital platform, we believe, can integrate with the players who can provide those kind of deliveries. We don't know how like maybe there are players, they also require partnership where they can fast forward that, so that return percentage, the farmer sometimes place the order and they even forget that I have placed the order and the order has to get delivered. So I think building that digitized supply chain where we can reach to farmer in next 24 hours or the same day, or maximum it should be like 48 hours. Other than that, we believe like that's not sustainable, and that's why we have done the physical model, and we have seen like if we are selling farmer instantly, we can get any number of the sales. Other than that, so I was talking about like all services integrating at one place. So the way we are building at Freshocard, that because like even the VLE models, there are different companies or maybe some companies trying in the same segment. But how you will keep that VLE, or how you will become primary source of income for those people, right? So input is like biggest market. Input has like one of the biggest market share in farmers in the buying side, but market linkages, farm equipment, machinery, farm care. They also have some level of like even in like India like country, in a complete country, it's a huge market, right? So how we can club all those things that we everyone can become sustainable. Like we really also have enough income that they keep working with these farmers. Other players, they also have multiple people working for them at every village or every pin code. So that's how I think do these 2-3 things in terms of the building scalable business, using technology, and building a strong supply chain. I think these are the key 3 things will be changing in the future, and we believe like we are on the right way to integrating all these things at one place. So that's like our input.
Thank you, Rajendra. Very well articulated. So I totally agree with you. Like, having bundling, as Ravi also mentioned, is the holy grail. how to do it. Like, we have different models, and let's see, like, which is going to work. Now, after you, Umesh, like, you are someone little bit different from others for simple reason, dairy and agriculture inputs, right? Your perspective going forward in your learning over past a year or so, that, like, how do you see going forward agri input industry moving, and what are your three themes?
So when we look at this space from a macro point of view and the companies who are operating, right, three sort of broad trends comes out to us. The first is consolidation of farmer facing touch points, right? Traditionally, if you look at it, farmer, in order to sell the milk, they had to go to a different point. In order to sell their agri output, they had to go to a different point. In order to buy a different set of product, they had to touch different touch point, right? Now, what we see, a lot of startups and traditional players are sort of trying to become one-stop solution for the farmer. So they're saying, if you need market linkage, if you need input, if you need financing, basically we are there. Most of the companies who are sort of growing in this space are providing more than one services, right? So this is sort of becoming a consolidation of farmer touch point, and what it will eventually go to, right? We're still not there where only one player is supplying for fulfilling all the need, but eventually there could be a situation where farmer rely sort of on one party to take care of all the things. Market linkage, it could be a dairy market linkage, or agri output market linkage, or buying the input either for their dairy needs or their agri needs, or let's say having a financing solution to buy the products or invest in the business. So the consolidation of brand will eventually lead to a situation where the recommendation by that entity or the company who is becoming sort of a one interface will play a very, very critical role. So that's sort of a one broad trend. And we see here also Bayer through their Better Life initiative, they are providing all the services to the farmers input or market linkage. We at Stellabs also moving in the similar direction. So that's one broad trend. The second is centralized advisory, but through decentralized resources. We all know there's a diverse landscape of agri practices in India. If you operate in multiple state, multiple district, it is very, very evident what we can implement in one area, not necessarily same is applicable for other operational area. So a lot of diverse landscape and finding talent for a company in those areas, the rural areas, is very difficult. So what is happening? There is a lot of centralized advisory repository which is being built. I'm sure that each one of the companies sitting here, they have a way of, or they have a huge database of centralized advisory. And there, when they render it, obviously you need a physical touch point. Not everything can be rendered to offline mechanism. So there's a decentralization in terms of who is rendering it. There are few companies who are relying on village level entrepreneurs, or they are engaging existing KVKs or the existing people with BSc agriculture, those kind of people. They're leveraging those guys to sort of render the advisory. But this database eventually in a 5 to 10 year time period will sort of set itself for great automation. Every one of us will have a huge database of advisory sort of data captured from multiple states. So it will lead itself to a very good automation, right? The third, the broad trend which we see is collaboration and partnership. Everyone understand that it's a very big space in India, and it's very difficult for only one entity to solve all of the challenges. Most of the companies are trying to become one brand for the farmer, but in the back end they are sort of partnering with each other. The panel here, I'm sure each one of us is helping each other in terms of providing the products, services like that. So you see a lot of collaboration and partnership among the ecosystem player. It could be the companies in the back end, or it could be leveraging the same set of manufacturers, distributors, retailers, the VLEs. There's a lot of collaboration which I see in this space. So these are sort of three trends which we see in this space.
Hey, Umesh, like, dairy to agri input is gonna be something which we all would be looking very closely, because 80% of dairy farmers are actually simple normal farmers as well. So that's very interesting aspect. And maybe, like, going forward, more dairy players or dairy tech players might see there is a synergy, or vice versa, right? Maybe tech players would start seeing dairy as one of the option. So both directions are possible. I go to Satyam. So Satyam, actually, we would like to understand from you your perspective about on two things. One is, you rightly mentioned that about government speaking about, like, 10,000 biological centers, right? Going forward, what do you think, like, that would be driving the biological adoption? Because government push is one part of it, right? And I'll be frank with you that not always the government push leads to outcomes, right? Sometimes they do. Green revolution is an example, but not all the time. So going forward, how do you see that the push for biologicals or increase in the market share of biological is going to happen, and what are the underlying factors which would drive that?
Thanks, Deepak. Coming to the biologicals and that biologicals are the future of agriculture. So everybody knows that the climate smart, sustainable, regenerative farming is the only future. Therefore, I will avoid laboring on explaining it, because I think all of us are from that background and we don't have to understand that. The only challenge being managing the transition from synthetic chemical inputs to bioag. The difficult transition period conventionally takes a minimum of 3 to 5 years, characterized with volatile crop uncertainties, which farmers can ill afford. And therefore, the resistance to change. Talking about the Holy Grail for us being that Eureka solution, that the farmer does not have to go through any transition shocks or pain of productivity loss or thus consequently economic loss when he or she decides to effect the transition. These transition losses either have to be, during this transition period, it is either have to be underwritten, the losses during this transition period has to be underwritten by the government through compensating through DBTs to farmers for 3 to 5 years, or they need to come to Virentia, where government need not underwrite. Virentia has some solid field proven answers with its products and processes providing game-changing holistic solution. And this transition period, from the first crop itself, the yield goes up, the cost of production goes down, your CB ratio increases, and therefore it doesn't have to be this transition period, the pain of this transition period doesn't have to be borne by the farmers. Over to you, Deepak.
Yeah, sorry, it was like, not getting unmute. No, I totally agree with you, Satyam, that the support is required. No, I'm seeing continuously a question being asked by multiple participants, right? That farmer is losing money while agri input companies and agtech companies are making money. So let me set some of the, concept straight here, right? Not all agtech companies are making money, point number one. In fact, majority of them, they are not making money, right? They're spending far more money than actually the revenue they are generating. So this whole idea of that agtech founders are becoming very rich and the poor farmer is becoming poorer, that's not right. Now, coming on the input side, does input companies profitable? Many of them, they are profitable for sure. But we have to understand the activity when you are doing at the scale of some of the companies which they are doing and the scale of a farmer, it is very different. There are far more things involved in agriculture, just the input. Input is just one part of it. So if I am selling a chemical bottle to a farmer or a biological bottle to a farmer, I know what is my cost. I know what price I want to sell. Unfortunately, agriculture is structured in such a way that farmer cannot decide the price of his produce, right? If farmer is allowed to decide price of his produce, he'll be profitable. Now, this is more of a policy issue than the issue which can be solved. The people sitting on this panel, can only do one thing: how to empower farmers so that their cost goes down, they use less of inputs, and they are more productive. And this is what we try to achieve through this forum. I'm not opening this question to rest of the panelists because I believe this could be a distraction. That's why I answered it. In case you have any of you have very strong view on that, please raise hand. I'll give you, I cede to you. Okay, so Umesh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so see, when we look at, we're comparing the farmer income, and we're looking at the entire nation and average number. But when we talk about a specific startup or a company is providing service, their farmer number can be different. For example, we did a study recently in Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. Our farmer income in last 2 years has increased by 90%. So that's a number very specific to us. In a curated set of farmer might not be a good reflection of how the overall economy is doing in terms of farmer income.
Okay, fair enough. Now, having given chance to you, anyone else would like to contribute on that? If they have some results where they have increased farmers' income, I would believe that would be a positive aspect. Thank you, Umesh, for putting it positively rather than throwing stone at the government or someone else.
No, sure, Deepak, I would like to chip in here. I think I would like.
Yeah, Ravi, please, please. You should. Yeah.
I would like to allude to Umesh what he said. See, each of the companies are working in the limited space. Of course, there are a lot of companies who are present in pan India, but still India is such a vast country. For a company also, even with a large scale, they work with a limited set of farmers, right? Like let me talk about my specific better life farming centers where we work with around, let's say, 2.5 lakh farmers. We have seen through our model plots, which has been established across the country, and we deal with around 2,000 model plots, right? We have been able to show yield increase, let's say in Chile, in Eastern UP, from let's say 5 to 6 metric ton to around 25 metric ton per acre, and the income has increased from let's say 80,000 per acre to now current 2.5 lakh rupees per acre. This is specific to Chile. In tomato, we have seen yield increase from 8 metric ton to 30 metric ton, and this I'm not talking about 1, 2, or 3 model plot. I'm talking at an average level, right? Paddy, we have seen the yield increase from 2 metric ton per acre to around 3.2 metric ton. So these kind of impact, different company at their different capacity are able to create, but again the set of there are limited set of farmers, right? And if you when you generalize it at a population level, that difference get muted, right? So you don't see much of an impact. Of course, that will take time to come in, and over the time, the way things are shaping up, it will come. But every company is doing in their own capacity, their way, so that farmers are getting benefit out of it. Yeah, Deepak.
No, I totally agree with you, Ravi. So, this whole perception of all the corporations or the startup and tech players and all that, right? They are here to just value themselves. Believe me, most of the companies, whether it is in the biological side, chemical side, or tech side, I strongly, because I interact with many of them. I've been with them on the farms. I've interacted with their farmers. Everybody is having heart at the right place, right? Very few black sheeps are there. So we have to not pass on those also that flat comments. Anybody 92 participant here, I would request with a folded hand that don't just have this perception that all the people who are there to fleece the farmer. No, they are there to support the farmers. There could be few black sheep. So I end that discussion from there. Now coming back to you Rajendra, right? I love this idea of the VLE concept, right? Village level entrepreneur concept, right? In fact, we have seen in past the government also tried to do it for extension, right? In fact, my first company, which was Microf, which I created as EdTech, was also very heavily dependent on the VLE. How do you see that model working, and what, according to you, are the challenges? One challenge you definitely mentioned was to keep the sustainability of the entrepreneur also, right? Do you see that scaling, and definitely you would believe it would scale, but according to you, what could be the challenges and how you want to maneuver that? Definitely, I'm not asking the secret sauce, but whatever you can disclose to open public.
So there is no secret. I think if we are trying to do something, and operationally, if we are facing challenges, someone else can do that in a better way. We are always happy to see that, right? So because it's a huge market, so that's never a threat. So we always my personal thing is I always tell what we are doing. It's there is nothing to hide, and there is nothing secret, because we are not building any formula for anything like that. Yeah, execution, we believe we have some way of doing something, and every two same product companies have different way of executing. So why we are so much focused on VLE? Because when in last around 2 years, I discussed with most of the companies. So everyone is we also have freelancer people on the ground. We also have freelancer people, but we have some challenges there were 5, we onboarded 1,000 people, but there are only 200 active, and their challenges were they were not getting enough income, and they are they were not interested in the product which we wanted to sell through them, right? So those kind of challenges, even in the terms of the service segment, every company want freelancer engineer, mechanics at the ground, but they were also facing challenges. So I think, and there should be a platform which is easily understandable for VLEs at least. So VLEs, like, no one, they are also farmers, but they are little bit advanced farmer. You can say just 10%, 20%. And these are like mostly young people. Their profile is like from 18 to 35 or like hardly 40. So we like onboard anyone can become now on board. So our platform was closed, was only open for Agri input people who want to become VLEs for 1.5 years. But now we are opening this platform where everyone can become VLEs. We will do a just training call with everyone. Let's say today we got 500 VLEs got onboarded. Our target is to like touch base with everyone. Like, this is how exactly this platform will work, right? So here, if we are like, let's say Mahindra want to sell their tractors, or maybe Bayer want to onboard more farmers, or want to if they can deliver their product to the farmers, or maybe they just want to educate about their farmers through our platform. So here, and how to reach, like, because there are 150 million farmers, and here they will not be it's very hard to reach every single farmer in even next 10 years, 15 years. So how we can reach that? We can reach, maybe there will be 10,000, maybe 1 million VLEs, they can reach to 150 million farmers. So I think to reach masses, because what I have realized, when I go to my village, no one heard about any startup who are doing anything in agri. And that happened in many areas, because whenever I go in the rural side in new areas, I always ask this question, right? And I have found out, like, there are many areas where companies are not reaching it. Now, some digital apps, they are there in some farmers app, but so that's why when I search with most of the products online, every company is spending on digital marketing. Every company in my like Instagram is showing all companies ads. So then I realized, like, yes, every company want to go digital. So that's also proof from the other side. And then we talk with every single company. So I think technology, if we are a startup, if we are doing some innovation, there has to be technology. We can't just do like buy, sell, and we like scale to maybe 1,000 crore in next 10 years. And I believe it should not be much people dependent, because that you can't control it, right? There are very few corporations in the world, they are 100% people driven, and they are scaling through only like maybe their in-house people management things and all. So I think this super app is nothing sort of, it's a like everyone can have their VLEs on our platform. If let's say some company want to, let's say Mahindra want to have their own VLE, so they can have their particular VLEs also get trained them, and they can have separate arrangement with them that they will be promoting there. So it's a technology only where people, let's say so agri input we do by ourselves, because we believe in the areas where we are expert in that. So there we do buying, we do logistics, we do the selling part. But we realize, like, every company, like whatever companies were coming to us that we want to partner with Freshocard and want to go to reach to these farmers where you are delivering agri input through VLEs. But here 1,000 VLEs are enough to generate 10 crore of business in a month. But these 1,000 VLEs, it's not necessary. So if they come to I will give them that you also need to sell tractors, so they will hardly sell 5 to 7 tractors, because they are only 1,000. But still, for agri input, they are generating good amount of revenue. So that's why we are going to, like, anyone who is interested, who want to do any business. There could be 5 VLEs, they only do farm care and farm implement. There could be 5 VLEs, they can only do the financial product. We have tried this model with financial product, and that was like profitable and sustainable for us. So that's is the vision behind it, that why not every company, they can choose their geography, that I want to focus only in these 5 districts. I need VLEs in these 5 districts, and my service need to be live there only, and I need quality. So we just are focused more on the quality VLEs, and we tell this company that these are your VLEs. If you want to keep active, you want more farmers, you have to take care of them. So that's our simple pitch which we do to our partners, and same for our VLEs, that if there are so many products and number of products, if you will sell it, you will get your share out of that. For farmers, they will buy from their network of people whom they trust it more. So we are just connecting every single dot through technology. So that's our vision.
Perfect. So Rajendra, I'm just trying to also answer one of the questions being asked, something which is very similar to what we're talking about. That end of the day, a poor farmer only buys what has been pushed to him through retailers. which would be a nice to have product, but not maybe the required product. So this is where the technology or democratization of technology make information available to farmers, and a VLE who is like, next door, or someone who just like when we talk about the Better Life initiative of Bayer, or Stellap's like, dairy aggregation initiative, this is a local guy. So like, he's among from the community, and it's the chances of a community person cheating his own community is less than a pure play retailer. So I believe that these models definitely would answer some of the questions which was asked, that about farmers being pushed to buy something good to have, but not actually being good. Now, my next question is to both you, Ravi, and Sachin, starting with Sachin. Sachin, you are trying to dovetail the market linkages part with your agri input part as well, trying to create a holistic solution. Now, how do you see the impact of that, and where do you see the value unlocking for the farmer when we also have the market linkage play, right, as a part of your digital or physical sales of the agriculture input? Starting with you, Sachin.
So let's put this way, because we were in agri input. I can say we are well equipped with the information. We have a historical data that we know better the cropping pattern, the share of the farmers, and the dynamics. Okay, so since we are aware about this, so in certain geography where we're working, like spices is a geography where we were deeply penetrated. So we realized that this is a natural choice, because we have a large base of the farmers who are growing, let's say, maize, who are growing chili, spices, okay, so to connect them with the national and international buyers. So one of the point I would like to highlight here, like when we are connecting national and international buyers, so creating awareness. So out of, let's say, we have a 700 chemicals allowed to sell in India. Out of them, 600 are not banned in US, Europe, and Japan. The guys who can give you the premium. So that's where the digital technology platform is helping them to do, and like what are the best practices they should follow, so that market can they can get the better buyer, they can get the better price realization. And that's where our farm trace, one of the product which we are using now, and bringing the transparency at the output side, so that buyers are well informed that when sowing happened, which seeds they used, what are the practices they followed, the weather information at different stage, and the information about the pest and the solution they applied, whether that particular solution was allowed or accepted in the European market or not, or the Japanese market or not. So I can say we are bringing the transparency. And since we are well connected with the input farmers, and that helped us to focus on the certain commodity and connect with the buyers at the same time and bring the transparency. So hope I answered your question.
100%, Sachin. In fact, like, I was talking to someone in Chile, right, in the catchment of area you work, and they said Sachin sab janta hai. So it's good, definitely, as you rightly said, that if you have data, then definitely you'll be able to add more value to the farmers in market linkage. Ravi, off to you, your experiences, because like, even the kind of work you are doing is exemplary when we're targeting India, but across the Southeast Asia, and on how market linkages can drive farmer to have, like, right practices as well as right inputs.
Yeah. So so Deepak, see, if we list down the problem which is currently being faced by the farmer, I think invariably market linkage problem will come, if not the topmost problem, for sure the top two problem. That market linkage is the key pain point of all the farmer across Southeast Asia, if I can say arguably the entire globe, that because market works on its own, right? There are so many international factors, commodity prices, different external events which happen. We are seeing with wars and in Russia, Ukraine happening, how the market is changing also. So that is something which is not in control of one person. So that's a very important thing for a farmer, and farmer being a single farmer, let's say smallholder, marginal farmer, with all these external factor and climate thing problem, his problem compounds with all this thing, right? Because if he has to invest first hand on all the agri input, and at the end, if he's not able to set the prices which you said, right? And he's been given a prices which was set internationally, which know his control. At the end, he remained at loss, right? So we need to solve the problem of market linkage. We need to solve the problem of access to credit to farmer at a right interest rate, right? Because if you're not going to solve this problem, we are not going to solve even agri input problem at a larger scale. The issue at large is that we want to go to farmer, we want to sell. We at a large ecosystem level, we don't want to say, okay, these are the problems of farmer, let us solve these problems. And because these problems are getting solved, the farmer will automatically purchase agri input, because at the end he has to grow his produce and he has to sell it, right? So market linkage will be the key thing where we need to focus. And as a BLF ecosystem also, around 500 center we have activated our market linkage, where we are connecting the farmer through the Better Life Farming Center, which is run by a VLE or an agri entrepreneur. And we try to bring in organized player who comes in with the right information of quantity, quality, right? They have access to these things and they can give the right prices, cutting few of the middlemen, not all the middlemen. And also at a local level, we see, because if you see 90% of all market linkage is still being done at a local level, right? The commission agent, the Artha, and they really add value. There's a reason they exist in the value chain, and they are solving problems of the farmers, right? And only 5 to 10% are, let's say, done by organized player, right? So you have to work with these people, right? You have to see how to make them efficient. You have to see how to make them bring into organized part, where much more transparency is there of the price being offered to the farmer and the commission being charged by a VVLE or an agri entrepreneur, and what prices the off taker or the buyer is getting at the end, right? So solving market linkage is very critical, right? And that's the way I think going forward in next 5 year, 10 year, the any organization player who is going to solve market linkage problem at a larger scale, they will be at a benefit, they will be at an advantage.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, totally agree with you, Ravi. And again, like, luckily I've been engaging for past so roughly 30 days with a lot of stakeholders in the market linkages part of it, specifically to pulses, because pulses is a new challenge, like, faced from the government to, like, traders. Everybody is scared, like, based on what the output we are seeing. And we have to definitely make our intermediaries more efficient, for sure, reduce number of them, for sure. But at the same time, as you rightly said, that some of these intermediaries, they add a lot of value, right? And this is where actually, like, they hedge farmers' risk when they agree to buy from the farmer, right? And actually the risk is passed from the farmer to that person, right? Whosoever is a middleman. Secondly, I've also seen that some of the tech companies I've seen for many, like, close to a half a decade or more than half a decade, the challenge is that the market saying that we want to remove the middleman, and they end up becoming a middleman, right? And they end up becoming a middleman with a fat wallet of an investor, right? So that distorts this ecosystem far more than actually, like, the middleman. So we have to be very careful about it, like, is there is a real value addition coming in just because you want to be in the game to remove the middleman. So definitely, if you remove, you become middleman, but are you adding more value to the farmer and the ecosystem? That is very important. And that's make me go to Umesh, because I believe, like, that is what they are trying to do, where actually they are disintermediating the system, but at the same time creating a value, because the milk community and then providing market linkage to the milk farmer, paying them a little bit higher than rest of the competitors. You have been able to do that in milk. Umesh, going forward, how do you see, like, as the dovetailing of market linkages for agri output as well as dairy, and then, like, whole ecosystem working where we are able to add or give more money to the hands of the farmer?
Yeah. Sure. So most dairy for us is basically a gateway into the rural economy. It's definitely not the last vision. Which our vision is basically to build a platform where both the kind of output, dairy and agri, are sort of, so those services are provided to the farmers. Similarly, inputs are also there. And most of the dairy farmers whom we are associated with, we have seen 85 to 90% of them are involved in agriculture. Now, how does dairy being the front end help us? First, dairy by nature is very, very hyper local. In the milk has a short shelf life, so you have to be very close to the farms, and then you need to set up the entire supply chain around the villages. So that makes it very, very hyper local. We are able to leverage the same supply chain in a reverse direction to provide products, agri input products or dairy input products much faster to the farmer. We are very close to farms. That's the first value which sort of brought to the farmer buyers. The second, farmer goes to the collection center twice a day, and if the cattle is lactating, he will go for sure to the nearest collection center. So there is a lot of trust between the collection center operator and the farmer, right? If you meet someone twice a day, every morning and evening, obviously there will be a lot of trust which will be built. Now we are leveraging the same trust to go, same trust or the same touch point to provide fulfillment for the product. So farmer just have to walk into the same collection center where he's walking, and he gets he gets basically all the products delivered at the same point. So it's basically very simplified transaction for the farmer. And for farmer, dairy and agri now sort of by the way of Stella Labs, it is becoming sort of simplified interaction for all the solution, all the problem. There is one solution. They just come into the same collection center. They can buy the products from us. They can supply the milk to us, and they can get financing solutions always also. And it also the market linkage bit, right? It's, as Ravi mentioned, very, very critical in the context of agri products. We are not doing anything on the agri side, but dairy, there are a lot of use cases which gets built just because you are buying the milk. Like there's a simplified payment and credit. Farmer walks into the collection center, pours the milk, and if he wants to buy a product, he can just buy it. He don't have to pay in cash because we owe money to the farmer because he's selling it to us. We are supposed to make payment to the farmer, so he can just use the same milk credit to buy any sort of product and services. And the same data we use to give credits to the farmer. So in case he's not able to buy any sort of input or services using the milk credit, he can just apply for the loan on the same application, and he gets money in his bank account within 1 hour, right? So that simplifies payment and credit to a large extent to the farmer. So these are 3-4 value proposition which I see, which we are able to uniquely give it to farmer because we have chosen dairy as a gateway into the rural economy.
Great, Umesh. So I totally agree that closer to being with the farmer to their farms is always a value addition any agtech company can have. Satyam, like, the last question to you, because we are running very close to the closing time. According to you, how do you see, you are sitting in Dubai, that will give a perspective, right? That market linkages, because in India, definitely we have a lot of demand, but at the same time, Sachin would also agree that export realizations are always better in some of the commodities. Being in Dubai, do you see that the possibility of a very solid, robust market linkages, if created by agriculture input companies, would be of value to make the Indian product exportable?
It's a very interesting question, Deepak, because incidentally, yesterday I was in the I2U2 forum, the forum that has been created for India, Israel, USA, and Ukraine. USA and UAE, sorry, Ukraine, because everybody's talking about the war. So
yeah, Ukraine. In fact, for past three days, I'm like hearing Ukraine everywhere.
Yes. And UAE, and what is interesting is that there are a lot of international supply chain initiatives that are happening, which is going to benefit the market linkages, because UAE is setting up in Gujarat a huge processing center and management center in Gujarat. And now this will need, and the SEPA, which has been created, the agreement that has been created between India and UAE, where most of the duties and levies have been waived off. So there's a food corridor that has been created, comprehensive economic agreement that they have, a partnership agreement that they have created between India and UAE. So this has created a food corridor for international distribution. And as you know, UAE is very strong for the international distribution because of their, Dubai ports, one of the biggest, having ports all over the Emirates airline, one of the biggest airline supporting the distribution, and they have the money. and they have the infrastructure, logistical infrastructure that they are creating. So they are creating one of the biggest food parks in India. They're investing in it. Now, this food park will require the feeder services of crops. So once you link yourself to the feeder services of crops, then all of a sudden you will get probably maybe not very high price realization, because again, when the economies of scale builds up, the prices come down, but you will have probably more visibility on prices. And therefore you will be able to plan and organize your business. The farming is a business, and Indian farmers should approach this as a business. And business must have predictability of economic outcomes. So predictability of economic outcomes and consistency of economic outcomes. These predictable outcomes should be consistent over time, that every crop cycle I'll be earning so much, and therefore my financial inclusion and my financial sustainability will be built up, and I'll progressively increase this thing. And that is how the whole thing, I think, has to be addressed. So more and more structured systems are going to emerge in this, because I was in the SEPA deliberations also, wherein there are a lot of big business houses and all are creating supply chain networks, and they even railways and other things in India. They will be managing all these cold supply chain through railways and all these activities. There are a lot of initiatives are happening, which probably at the moment it is not as visible to the market as we feel at the moment. But integrating the farmers into this downstream supply chain will be the next big effort that is required from all the supporting companies like agtech companies or agri input. Because agri inputs, when we are putting in, the people who are advising on the inputs must take responsibility of the outcomes of those crops. So that is a critical area there's a critical disconnect between the people are agri input, bundling, everything, but none of them is talking about, I am taking the responsibility of the outcomes of this, whatever I'm advising.
Yes, Satyam, you are just like, trying to get into the honest net, right? It's very dangerous place to be in. So
I would like to say, I think people are doing it. I think, let's say, with Rajendra really present there and doing it. Let's say Better Life Farming through their appointed aides are actually present in the village where farmer can access 24 hours. They can really come and that this product I have purchased from your BLF center. You are responsible for this agri input, right? So people have started to come that take ownership if they have confidence on their product. So the ecosystem is also moving toward that. Right?
Yeah, and then I agree with I agree with you, Ravi. Yeah, just no, so I understand Satyam's perspective and I understand, Ravi, your perspective, but I would be happiest person the day I start seeing on the bottle of an input saying that 100% guaranteed or money back. So let's end it up with that, and thanks a lot for everyone for you sharing your views. Let me try to just summarize very simply. One, definitely we need more bundling. Secondly, we need to move towards green economy, where actually we become see agriculture being more sustainable environmentally as well. Third, which was the last topic, where we say that let's create market linkages and hence ensure there is an economical guarantee to the farmers. Or I would take it to Umesh for the thank you note. Umesh, all to you, and then Abhijit.
Thank you everyone for participating in this call. I think we had a very good discussion in terms of what kind of models exist in distributing the agri inputs, dairy input, what are the problems underlying each of these model, and what kind of innovative solutions are being trialed by different companies. Each one has their own perspective and their own experience when they say about the solution. We will see which one will scale. That will tell us the answer. But thank you everyone for your contribution and valuable suggestions. Looking forward.
Thank you everyone. On behalf of ThinkAg and Stellabs, I would like to offer my thanks, especially to the speakers. All the speakers, I think, are very complex as well as a very relevant topic. A lot of models are being experimented. Lot of models already are on field, but probably time scale will give us a lot of the answers what we are basically thinking on. With this, I would like to also thank Deepak, who has superbly moderated this entire discussion. And last but not the least, the entire team at Stellabs has been a very great help in putting things together for this event. And with this, a message to all the attendees that we would be having this thing. I mean, it's already recorded and it will be also live on ThinkAg YouTube channel in few days time. So if you have missed or probably would like to revisit, you can definitely do that. So with this, thank you so much. And let's hope to meet you in our next event soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.